Hi everyone, it's Justin, Voices for Voices. Thank you so much for joining this episode. As always, over 420 episodes strong. It's because of you we have a show, that we have the worldwide audience that we do over 100 countries, 1,000 cities. Our aim is for reaching 300 countries, 3,000 cities, and touching lives somewhere in the number of 3 billion or more. So we have bold goals, but with your help, if you can hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, like, follow, all that great stuff is free. If you can do that, that'd be very helpful. And if you are able to, reach out, maybe do a group text, 25, 50, your closest friends, friend groups, colleagues, loved ones, let them know about the Voices for Voices show, especially this specific episode with Bishop Foreman is a treat for us to bring to you his expertise, his passion, and we're just so grateful to get started. So I will get started by uh, doing a little bit of Bishop Foreman's bio from his website that covers quite a lot of information, and looking forward to the conversation. So all this is in quotes because I'm quoting directly from Bishop Foreman's website. Known as the people's bishop, he is a shepherd that loves those he leads. Bishop Kevin Foreman is a Renaissance man who has devoted his life to changing lives. Born in Denver, Colorado, and reared in Orange Mound, an area of Memphis, Tennessee, riddled with the plight that often accompanies the inner city. From humble beginnings, through God's amazing grace, he has defied statistics and transcended superficial boundaries. Today, he is an influential pastor, successful church planter, bishop, success coach, in demand speaker, author, philanthropist, and entrepreneur. Bishop Foreman is the founder and chancellor of Harvest Bible College, pioneering #Fit Harvest to promote healthy living in the harvest movement. Bishop Foreman celebrated successfully shedding over 95 pounds through a simple yet powerful lifestyle changes. This is a testament to God's desire for us to walk in His shalom, where nothing is missing, nothing is lacking, nothing is broken, and all is well. So I want to introduce Dr. Foreman to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Listen, I'm super excited to be here with you. Let me just say thank you for what you do, creating
Oh,
these conversations. I believe conversations are catalysts for transformation. And so, thank you for what you do to create these conversations to help people. I love the name Voices for Voices. I love the name, love the mission, love what you do. So I'm super excited to be here as part of the conversation and hopefully add some value to everybody watching and everybody listening.
absolutely. So I'll just start with why why do you want to help people? What got you started in the ministry to be
Yeah.
doing the things that you have done, that you are doing, and will be? What got you started, that spark in your mind?
Yeah, you want to know the truth? The joke is, I came out of my mom's womb with a Bible and a briefcase. Like I just came out with this affinity towards spirituality, and I intentionally use the word spirituality because to me, it was all about the gospel is good news, and the good news is the bad news is wrong. So there's an approach that says condemn, 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 beat down, beat down, beat down. That's not my approach. Then there's the approach that there's the gospel, there's good news. So that's why I use the word spirituality. And then success, business, entrepreneurship. Started my first business when I was 12, got into the ministry when I was 12. At 21, I built Denver's largest Black owned mortgage company. And I got started early as a pastor and then even as a senior pastor, and then a bishop, which is, for those who are unfamiliar with it, it's just basically a pastor, two pastors. Every general needs a general, every coach needs a coach, every leader needs a leader, and so that has just always been intrinsically something that's a part of me. I don't know another way of life except using my life to change the lives of other people. I literally don't know another life. I don't know another way. And what's crazy is I'm the first in my bloodline to do it. I'm the first in my family to do it. The first in those, in the community that I grew up in and around to do it. And so I think I represent what a lot of people are, which is you're the curse breaker, you're the line crosser, you're the boundary breaker, you're the history maker, you're the one that's got to go blaze the trail because nobody else blazed it for you. And that can feel very uncomfortable until you know you're not alone. So I'm the one to say to those that have to do it, you're not alone.
I love it, and that is especially in today's society. There's so much uh, so much division out there, and so to really bring people together in whatever way a person may feel that they can do that, for you to do that and be that trailblazer, knowing that you are in a way a role model for so many that are looking to do things that you have done, or that they watch an interview, and they're like, man, like how's he speak so succinctly, and it's just incredible to have somebody with your passion too. Did that passion kind of come out too, like we said,
Yeah.
with the briefcase in the Bible?
You know what? Honestly, so I was a really shy kid. And if I'm honest with you, there's even moments that shy will try to creep up on me now. But when I would get on a stage, I would come alive. I remember in Memphis City schools, in elementary school, Smuckers, the everybody knows jam and jelly and all
Oh,
that. Well, they came to the area and they needed a spokesperson, and so I was a different type of kid, and I learned to not demonize my difference. While a lot of my peers were focused on hanging out with one another, I was the type of kid where I was like, I want to be in the good graces of the teacher and the principal and the administrators. Like, I want those to be my friends. That was basically the leader in me that was drawn and to other leaders, and so I just was different. And so in that, I remember when Smuckers came, the principal and my teacher at the time, they said, well, we think you'd be perfect for this. And again, in private or in small social settings, I am very nervous, and I used to perspire really heavily. So you can see my nervousness even as a kid, right? And so I remember though getting on that stage. And boom, I was like a fish in water. I can remember doing things. I remember even back as a kid, the commercial appeal, the newspaper in Memphis did a special deal back then. Like the technology of the day was like the homework hotline. Like that was cutting edge technology where a parent could call this line and get the homework for their kid that was recorded by the teacher. Of course, now that seems just the most antiquated, short of a chisel and type of thing. But in that, I remember being the face for that, and constantly being in positions and places where I was always in front of people. So I've lived majority of my life in front of people as a leader or influencer in some way or another. And so the energy of it, honestly, is just who I am. Like this is who I am. So it's difficult for me. I think for some people, the challenge they have is they're being something or someone they're not, and so
mm.
it's like they have to put it on, take it off, put it on, take it off. This is my energy. I am always this way. In fact, I feel a little low if you want to, but this is always my energy. This is always, I'm always smiling. I'm always excited. And I think that is just something that has developed over time, but it really comes, I believe, from a place of recognizing that I get to choose my emotions. I can be sad, or I can be mad, I can be frustrated, I can be angry. Emotions are indicators, and that's it. They are not facts. They're just feelings. And so I've learned I get to pick it. So I could be mad as all get out, but I'm still gonna have a good day. I could be frustrated as all get out, but I'm still going to have an amazing day. Because for me, I think that's a choice. And I think for so many people, like life is going to life. You're going to have things that hurt. You're going to have things that are painful. You're going to have things that anger you. You're going to be betrayed. Life is a contact sport. If you're not taking hits, you are not playing it right. And if you play trying to avoid hits, you're going to normally get hit the most and the hardest, like football. If you're doing all this scrambling around and all of that, trying not to get hit with the ball, normally you're going to get hit. It's going to hurt, and it's going to be behind the line. You're going to lose progress. And so it's just a choice. It's just a conscious choice. I make that choice. I make that decision, and it's a daily decision that I make. It doesn't deny the reality of humanity and frustrating things and angering things or whatever, or sad things. But it just means I just decide. I get to pick my emotions.
Yeah, that's so true. Marcus Aurelius, I believe, uh, said that very thing
Mhm.
in his work that uh, we are who we are inside. So whatever belief we have internally, that's our choice. We can't
Mhm.
impact things outside of our control, but
Right.
we can impact things internally. And
Right.
so there are going to be things that there's going to be high points, there's going to be low
Yep.
points, and
Yep.
everywhere in between. So if
Yep.
somebody is watching and listening, what would you tell them to get started if they're I'm not that an age matters, but
Yep.
they're in their formative years and they're like, I want to make a difference. I want to serve people.
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
I would say, and I love what you said, not that age matters, because any time is the right time to do anything, right? Like sometimes we're waiting, I'm waiting on the perfect time. And there's a scripture in the Bible that says, if you're waiting on the perfect time, you're going to get nothing done. And so for me, I don't care if you're, 20, 40, 60, 80. If you got a pulse, there's still a plan. There's still purpose in you. There's still life you are meant to live. That's why you're still here. At some point, I think every person has to ask themselves the question, why am I still here? How did I survive what I survived? How did I make it out of? You cannot tell me that you made it through the things you've made it through, survived the things you survived, come out of what you've come out of, dealt with what you've had to deal with, endure what you've had to endure just so you could go to work, pay bills, have babies, and die, or whatever that sequence might be. Maybe you pull the babies out, put a dog in there, whatever. At the
Yeah,
end of the day, you cannot tell me that that is the only reason that you're on the planet. And so, that being said, at any age, any time is the right time to do anything. It's the moment you make the decision. For me, because it was intrinsic in me. It just became my lifestyle, my way of life. And over life, it took on many forms. It took on forms in business. It took on forms in ministry. I remember, always looking at the things that gave me a burden and that the things that bothered me. Whatever bothers you, that's where you're supposed to be a blessing. Whatever aggravates you, that's normally the thing you're assigned to. Like, why doesn't somebody do something about that? You do it. The reason it bothers you is because that's the thing you're supposed to be a blessing in. The thing that aggravates you, that's the thing you are assigned to address. You're assigned to fix. You're assigned to add your voice to the conversation. And so for me, I'd say to anybody, it's always a good time to start. Number two, it's always a good time to start with one step. With one
mm,
step. Like a lot of times, I think people don't do things because it's overwhelming. I remember when I started looking in, and this is a totally different subject, but same principle.
mhm.
When I started looking into crypto, this is years and years ago before it was sort of more mainstream. I was like, what is this? I said, this is the most confused. Like, I was completely
Yeah,
confused. And then one day I made a lot of money off of it. And then a couple of weeks later, I was like, where's my money at? Like, it was
yeah.
that type of a thing. And I remember thinking, man, this is so overwhelming. I said, the only reason it seems overwhelming is because I am trying to do the whole thing at one time. I am trying to crash course into this and go from A to Z and be a crypto expert in 2 weeks. That's not
Mm.
necessarily the way it works. I think for most, the feeling of being overwhelmed is what stops them from taking the next steps. And I say this to people I coach, whether they're executives or everyday people or supervisors, managers, pastors, leaders, whatever your life is. I say this: how would you eat an elephant? And most people kind of, well, maybe eat an elephant. We don't eat elephant. And to
Mm,
be clear, I am not suggesting that we should go out eating elephants, right? This is a
yeah.
animal friendly discussion.
Yes.
But the reality is everybody would say, well, one bite at a time. Just because it's bigger doesn't mean I change my approach.
Um,
Bingo. Same thing is true with life. Just because you're approaching something big doesn't mean you change your approach. You approach it one bite at a time. Same way you'd eat a hamburger, same way you'd eat, some fries, same way you'd eat my favorite, cheese and bread. Those two together, virtually in any combination. I love
hates
it.
it.
Same, yes, you get it. Same way. So I think number one, it's anytime is a good time to do anything. Number two, the way you got to do that is one bite at a time, one step at a time. So let's say you want to, get involved in missions work, for example, and not just
Mm,
overseas, but something domestic. Take one step, do the research, then take the next step. Figure out what area most speaks to you. Like, don't get into it and, oh, I spent, 20 minutes on this and I'm so overwhelmed. Because normally when we feel overwhelmed, what are we going to do? It's like drowning. I want to get out of this water. And that's what most
mm.
people do is they get out of the water and they never get back in it because of how they got in it. Put one foot in, then a little bit of knee, then put a little thigh. Then, before you know it, you're in it and you mastered it.
Absolutely. How important, it's kind of a softball question, but how important is prayer to your life and for others? I know when so I hit mental health rock bottom in 2017, and I
Mhm,
was away from the church
mhm,
for the college years plus
mhm,
a few. And once I came out of rock bottom, I had my psychiatrist, I had my team,
mhm,
but then there was still something missing, and it wasn't until I brought faith back
mhm.
into my life that I felt as whole as can be.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious on the importance of prayer in your life and for others that are watching and listening.
Yeah, great question. I think for me, it is quintessential. I view it like this: any relationship without communication isn't a relationship.
That's right.
And so, when often you hear people talk about their relationship with God, and what most people have is a transactional relationship with God, not a relationship with God. What's the difference? A transactional relationship is like what you have with your bank. When
Mm.
you go to your bank, I'm there, I'm getting something, I'm depositing something, or I'm getting something, and I'm out. Most people don't sit in the bank all day and talk to the bankers and, hey, how you doing? You good? How you feeling? You good? Not that you don't have minor conversations, but most people aren't going in and spend the day back and forth. Hey, Bob, yeah, you doing good today? Yeah, how's my account looking? You know what I mean? Most people aren't doing all of that. It's the same way with God. To me, if if it's just a transactional relationship, you only go when you need something. You only
Mm.
call on when you need something. And now flip that around. Would you want that type of person in your life? And the only
Oh.
time you heard from them is when they needed something from you. You'd be like, matter of fact, when you saw them call, you'd say, oh God, here they go. What
Mm.
do you need? What do you want? Because you already know we're not building any type of relationship or connection. The only thing we're doing is transactions. You're getting something from me. And at a real deep level, you have to look at that as usury. This is usury. And I think this is why so many people can get frustrated in their relationship with God, is because it's not really a relationship. You only go to him when you need something. Conversely, relationship means this is an interaction we're having all day long. And I think that's what prayer does. It's two-way communication. It's not just you talking to him, it's him talking back. It's not just you giving him when I was a kid, I don't know if you remember this. Remember they used to have the big thick catalogs they'd send from J.C. Penney around
Oh
the.
yeah.
Oh yeah. So listen, when that catalog would come, I would go to that catalog, I'd start marking pages, circling prices, and I'd start paying attention if they changed the prices or raised them, right? Because I
Mm.
this was my Christmas list. This is what I want. And the reality is, I think for many, that's what their relationship, air quotes, has become with God, is that this is the list of things I want. This is everything I want you to do. Thank you. versus a true relationship where it is dialogue. You're speaking, he's speaking back. You're speaking, he's speaking back. And I don't have to wait to the end of the night to put my hands together like this and say, now lay me down to sleep. This is a conversation that can happen throughout the day. Like, what relationship do you not speak to your the person you're in relationship with all day? Like, you don't talk to them all day except, hey, how you doing? How's your day? Okay, great. That relationship is over, and you two are the only ones that don't know it yet. Real relationship is communication. So to answer your question, how important is prayer? To me, it is quintessential in the sense that I don't know how you do life without having conversation with your manufacturer. I don't know how you do life without communicating with who made you, who designed you, who developed you, and being able to cast your cares upon Him. Like, listen, prayer is the reason I've lost my mind.
Hmm.
Right? There's
Yeah.
a scripture in Luke 18 that says, men, and of course, women, men ought to always pray, meaning mankind ought to always pray and not lose heart. Translation, pray all the time, you won't lose your mind. So to me,
Mm.
it's the reason. Some people say, Bishop Foreman, how have you dealt with everything you've dealt with and you do all the things you do? It is because of prayer. It is not just because I've developed amazing skills, although I've had to do that. It is because I recognize, listen, if I don't pray, I'm about to lose my mind up in here, up in here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
DMX in there.
Yeah, come
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
exactly. You got the reference. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Uh, I recently, I don't know the time frame, but recently I either read or heard an interview with Michael Jordan, and people are asking about his political affiliation
Mhm,
of what side of the aisle do you belong
mhm,
to,
mhm,
and then he said uh, he goes, I'm not gonna. He goes, I'm independent.
mhm,
Uh, he goes because there's Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians.
mhm,
They all buy sneakers, so
mhm.
it, I'd be doing myself a
And
disservice
this
of
service.
cutting off of like potentially half the country, give or take. And I like on your webpage how you cover that as well, that you're talking and speaking, and it doesn't matter where somebody stands politically, and we're also implementing that of if a candidate wants to come on and they want to talk and share, that's
Mhm,
great. And we just got
mhm,
done having a candidate on
mhm.
last night, and we got it's not even live yet, and we're already getting the hate mail, and they're like this, and this. So to your point, if you're not making uh, if you're waiting and then you get hit and it's going to hurt more, then instead of just saying, okay, there's going to be things that are going to happen that are going to be good and bad, and when you're doing things. Um, anyway, so I like that approach that you have because it, you want to reach all people. You want to help all people, and it comes down to just being a plain old human being.
Yeah.
Where did that philosophy come?
Great question. When I saw that there was nothing to win by taking sides, there's nothing to win,
Mm-mm.
right? Other than to reinforce an ideology that frankly may change. So to me, there was nothing to win. I discovered this a long time ago. Full disclosure, since we're on the topic, I'm an independent, also not a Democrat nor Republican. I am pro people. I am, I'll say that very loud and strong. I am pro people. I am not anti people. I do not believe that I think the government should just stay out of people's lives in all ways, all days, right? As much
Mm-hmm.
as possible, with appropriate, regulation, et cetera, et cetera. So that's just the high level. So to be clear.
Yeah.
That being said, I remember it was years ago. I had to learn this lesson because one of our core values is we don't take sides, we take over. And that's just a general belief that we weren't sent, to just be passive bystanders in life. We were sent to have a positive impact. There are some Christians that believe in doing that, that they need to legislate morality and force their view on the culture writ large and say, we're going to legislate how you live, and that's going to make you moral. That's some people's belief. I don't believe you can legislate morality. I think at the end of the day, like God gives people choices, you give them choices. And I mean, you're not giving them choices. God gave them that choice. So if you say with liberty and justice for all, one nation under God, okay, well then give people what he gives them. So that's high level. That being said, now I can imagine some people already trying to say, oh, he leans this way or that way.
Mm-hmm.
Your mama. No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. No, I'm just joking. Y'all get that I
I
like
know.
that fun. But in that, what I discovered, I remember years ago, we're doing something to essentially create a 5 minute period in the school day that would allow kids, if they wanted to pray, meditate, sit there, play on their phones, whatever, they could do whatever. And it was simply a proposal that was designed. When I looked at the school system, I said, the school system is, if you look at the stats, most of them are not trending in the right direction. And a lot of this isn't just academic stuff. This is life stuff. Kids don't have time to just, they just dealt with stuff at home. They just dealt. And so it was very simple. The goal was not to get quote unquote prayer back in schools. It was not the goal. The goal was to give the option, and it was just to start a conversation. Well, here's what happened. We got it through the initial process to get it on the ballot in the state of Colorado. The state notified the media before we were notified that it got there. So there was another step we'd have to take it before it make it to the ballot. The hate I got,
Mm.
I mean, you got threats, death threats. I got threats to burn down the building. We're going to come picket your building with signs. It was just the craziest stuff too. Like I was just like, we're going to picket with signs of, babies and things. I just, what are you
Man.
talking about? I was like, what are y'all talking about? We had teachers call and boldly leave voicemails threatening us and threatening me. I mean, it was intense for a few weeks to where like it was like we had to like literally lock down and like
Mm-hmm.
security around me was like a bubble around me, like, because we got a huge number of threats. The media came after us. They went to every person that had any name similar to mine and were knocking on doors and standing outside. I would see news trucks outside of my house. Bishop Foreman, are you in there? I'm
Mm.
like, y'all, all this is the first step for a ballot initiative. And I'm not what y'all are saying we're trying to do. We're not trying to do. And so I mean, it was really crazy for about 2 weeks. And in all of that happening, I recognized you all took this and made this political. They even got a pastor to come on and said
Mm.
to oppose me. And I said, oppose me? You didn't have to oppose me because I wasn't what you're saying I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to do. And he got on and said, I don't want the schools educating our kids in prayer at all and religion at all. I said, that's not what did y'all read it? I said, that's not what we're trying to do. Here's my point. I quickly learned how people already have decided what they want to believe when it comes to a lot of those political issues. Something that was not political was politicized, and we found ourselves in the crosshairs of it. And so as the years progressed, I realized there's nothing to win taking a side. There's nothing to win. So my approach has always been I will work with who works with me to advance the lives of the people that I lead. And if you're a Democrat, let's work. If you're a Republican, let's work. Now, in my experience, the facts are coming out of Denver, the majority of the folks that were willing to work on the Democratic side. But we certainly
Mm.
did what we could on both sides. That's just my experience. And so that's the approach that we take. So we make that clear on our website. Are we politically affiliated? Because now it's almost like if you're a Christian, that means you're a Republican. No,
Yeah.
that is not what that means. And you have to be clear about that in today's world because people automatically associate different things in ways that they don't have to be associated. But I say to you, I get it. And whenever you start touching that, especially right now, you're going to have people on either side. And sometimes it'll amaze you, the people who should understand you and know you. And they sometimes are the loudest critics. And you're saying, did y'all listen to what was said? I remember during this last, and I know it's a long answer, but I had to just
You're
get it out
good.
there. But
Yeah,
I
please.
remember during the last presidential cycle between Vice President Harris and Donald Trump.
Mm.
I remembered that we were just talking about the importance of people going to vote. That was it. And we got messages from people that, it seems like you were saying this, and it seems like you were saying this, and I feel very strongly about this. I said, I didn't say any of that. I said, go vote and educate yourself. Because at the end of the day, if you don't educate yourself, you may vote against your own interests. Don't vote against your own interests. Don't support something that ultimately is not going to be beneficial. And some of the messages that came through, again, reiterated to me that there's nothing to win here by taking a side.
That's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. And then, uh, yeah, it's interesting to have a compadre to, and
Yeah.
been there, done that.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it's not the funnest thing, but yeah. So it's mayhem. But then it, I kind of feel like I'm not doing anything worth doing if I'm not running into some things,
Oh,
running
yeah.
into because like you said earlier in our conversation, the easy thing to do is just to walk away, to do
Yep.
nothing, to just sit on the couch, just
Yep.
yep, we're not going to have anybody on the show that says this or says that. It's like,
Yeah.
then why have a show? Like,
I
you
have a
know,
show.
if,
Right. I have a
if we're not,
show.
yeah, if we're not going to have people from all walks of life.
Yep.
And we even say, hey, if you're interested in coming on a show and you're a candidate and you want to
Hmm.
talk, we'll give you the same airtime. I don't
Hmm.
care where you're at. We're in Ohio, and this individual's in Oregon, so they're running
Hmm.
for governor, and so like,
Hmm.
it doesn't matter where it's at.
Right.
As our time unfortunately comes to a close, what's the best way for people to learn about your work, to follow you, to be a part
Yeah.
of your movement, Bishop
Yeah.
Foreman.
Yeah. But again, just want to say thank you for having me. And thank you for, again, I said it at the beginning, said again, thank you for creating these conversations. I just got to add one thing to the thing you just brought up
Please
about,
do.
if it's not worth, if you're doing something that's worthwhile, if you want to never be talked about, don't do anything worth talking about. At the end of the day, that's where the wins are, is having these conversations. And I say to those that maybe are listening and think, oh, I can't believe you had this person on the show, whatever it might be. Sometimes you have to step back and ask yourself two questions. One, what's the harm in hearing how somebody else's thinks? If it's that much of a threat to what you think or believe, then perhaps you need to check your own thoughts and beliefs. I'm a Christian, unapologetic, all day, every day, 5 times on Sunday, right? Um, I can listen to an atheist. That doesn't, oh, I can't listen to this. No, I want to hear what you think, because it helps me to be more effective
Mm,
at what I do, and it only concretizes what I believe. Or if it does blow a hole or create an area of doubt, now it makes you go do some research and say, okay, what is the real issue here? So I encourage everybody to think at a higher level and realize that just because you're listening to someone who opposes you, that's not a loss, it's a gain, because it gives you insight. Like sometimes you need to see how people who are on the other side of an issue think about it, to figure out, how did you get here? What happened to you to get here in your mind? Because maybe I don't understand where you're at. I don't get where you're at. I think where you're at is crazy. Okay, but how did you get there? It's important to understand that. So I just have to say that, because I think sometimes people think, even considering to listen to someone different or someone on the other side, I'm making my business to routinely listen to a variety of thoughts and opinions about an issue, not because it's necessarily going to change mine. It's going to help me make mine better. It's going to help me make mine more expansive. And sometimes, can I be honest? It helps me to be more objective about an issue, because now I'm not just looking at it through the silo of,
mm,
what I've already chosen to believe or what I already think. It helps me to expand, and I think that's why people call me the people's bishop,
mm,
because I have the ability. I don't care what your background, white, black, tall, short, no matter your background, everybody included, nobody excluded. to connect with people, and they say, you know what, that doggone Bishop Foreman, I tell you what, when he's preaching, it's like he's talking to me. And that can be from anybody. It's not just
Mm.
one race or one background or one. Well, it's amazing to me. We've seen over almost 13,000 professions of faith in our existence. 1,859 in 2025. We're all knocking at the door of 100 just a few days into 2026. That is because, again, the good news and the bad news is wrong. Something we want to do for your audience, though, is
Yes.
we want to sow something into them. I'm a giver. So we want to sow something into your audience, and that is a discount. We've got tons of books from being a history maker, evolving into the best version of yourself, making money moves, the art of getting your finances in order, Sins of the Fathers, breaking generational curses, patterns of behavior. Tons of books that I wrote, and I'll just tell you for the men in your audience, fellas, I
Yeah.
wrote the books to be short. So, because sometimes they say men don't read. They are short reads, fellas. You will love these books. Ladies, you're going to love them because there's lots of stories and like they're perfect for everybody. And we want to show that. So people, and give you a discount is what to be specific. And so if you just text the word bishop to the phone number 55498, it'll
Okay.
get you connected to our text spam, and you'll get a text back that shows the discount code. People can get books, music, messages, more. We have an app that's got tons of resources, messages, so much that we didn't even get to talk about. And people can do all of that through going to Bishop Foreman, FOREMAN.com. Or again, special just for your audience, text the word bishop to the phone number 55498, and they can get the information for our online store and get access to the books and all that and find out more. And last but not least, on social, you can shoot me a DM. I actually respond to them. And I get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of messages a day, so it takes me a minute, but I actually make it my business to respond to socials and what have you, and so people can connect and move in that. So would love to connect with your audience. And again, thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome, Bishop Foreman. And a beautiful conversation. So happy we were able to make it happen. I breath of fresh air to just have a human human conversation and share information. And I'm with you that we can choose not to listen to others, or we can choose to listen to others,
Mhm.
or if it's that much of a harsh topic, we can always just change the channel. We don't have to.
There you go.
we, there's thousands of shows out there, and or even more than that. And so that's the way I look at it. And I tell our audience, I say, hey, like it's okay. Like you're probably gonna like some shows, and you're probably not gonna like some. If you don't like it, that's fine. Just go somewhere else. Don't come on and share the hate and the threats and that. Just just move along, because I don't have time in the day for me to do that, to reach out to people. It's like if I don't agree with it that
Yep.
much, I just do something else, and
Go.
it's the easiest thing to do. It's
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
it's like I just don't have to do anything. I don't even have to turn on YouTube or Apple or any of that. But it's been truly a blessing having you on, Bishop Foreman. Thank you for
Thank you.
the mission work, for the coaching, for just being so authentic and so transparent, especially as you mentioned at the beginning about you coming out with a briefcase and a Bible, being born, that this is just like this is what you do, and it's where you thrive, and I think that that's a cue to anybody in our audience or other audiences, is when you find that something that you're doing well and you like doing it, that's probably something you should maybe at least take a look at and
Yeah.
see if it's something that, okay, like, do I want to do that for a career, or maybe not. But uh, thank you so much. I'm just tickled that you come on the show, and we were able to get it to work out, and love to have you on the show again as time and schedules permit to get into some of those other topics. And uh, And so thank you, Bishop Foreman.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me again. I would love to do that anytime. I'll let them know. You send the invite,
Yeah,
we'll shut down whatever we're doing because I'd love to
uh,
be with you.
absolutely. And thank you, our viewers, our listeners. Please check out Bishop Foreman. We'll have all the links in the description, so you can head out, especially that texting code to get you that discount, so you can get that code to check out the content, the media that Bishop Foreman has. And until our next show, we just hope that you are and continue to be a voice for yourself or someone else in need. We will talk to you on the next show. Goodbye.